Hello. Hey. It's Tuesday. Hope you ladies are doing well today. It is Topic Tuesday. Super excited about today. Again, I hope these trainings or topic discussions have been helpful for you. If you so again, I just hope that they are helpful. They are getting you closer to your goals. Information is power, right? So that's why I'm here sharing this stuff in our Facebook page. Continue to share this page with your friends. Share these trainings with your friends as you hear about other mamas of faith who are struggling with these things. That's who I'm trying to reach because I think it's super important for us moms who are believers to really understand the power that we have within us to change these things in our lives, to have a healthier lifestyle. So I see a few people on here. Say hi when you hop on if you can. Stick around. Great. If not, you can always watch this back later. So I'm going to jump right into our topic today, talking about, I asked you guys, when it comes to nutrition, what are the main things that you struggle with? And a lot of you said sticking with a plan. And so I'm really excited to talk about this today. Nutrition is something that actually, personally, I haven't taken seriously up until probably the last 5 years. So I've been in fitness for a long time, but I never really dialed in my nutrition until about 5 years ago. And it's just been something that has been super powerful for me. And something that I've grown to learn that 80% of what we do, you probably heard this before, happens in the kitchen. It happens with eating, our habits with eating. And so remember, as we get going, write this stuff down. Today is kind of more to give you some information, but also to help you think about some things. So I'm going to be asking a lot of questions. So I want you to write this down and think about this later after this training. So firstly, I just want to clarify, because I might use the word diet interchangeably with nutrition plan. I'm trying to change my verbiage on that because diet has this bad connotation. But I wanted to actually give you the definition of diet, and you might actually know this, but I looked it up. And so just to clarify, the diet definition just means the kind of food that a person, animal, or community habitually eats. And so diet is just what we put in our bodies. It's food. Okay, so don't get all up in arms if I use the word diet, because I'm just talking about the food that you eat. There are fad diets, which we're going to kind of get into just a little bit, and that's where the bad connotations come in. So I'm going to try to use the word nutrition more so than diet, but if I interchangeably use those words, that's what I mean. All right. So this is the thing I want us to think about as we get going, because we've talked about, my question to you guys was, what's your biggest struggle? And you said your biggest struggle was sticking with a plan. So I want to dial that back just a little bit and ask you this question. So when you choose to stick to a nutrition plan, this is my question, write this down. Why is that your plan? Why is that your plan? Okay, write that down. When you decide to pick a plan, why is that your plan? Okay, we really need to dial back our understanding of what nutrition does for us, all right? Now, I don't have any certifications yet in nutrition. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, so all I am sharing with you is things that people have poured into me. I have worked with a nutritionist. She's taught me a lot of things. My goal is to have a nutrition certification eventually. But, and the CPT that I have, it dived into macros and the ideas behind nutrition and what foods do for your body and how they react with your body. So that is the information that I will be sharing with you as a coach. And as I learn more, I will be sharing more with you. But these are a lot of the basic ideas and coaching things that I will be talking a lot about, okay? So just want to clarify that. So why is this your plan? And then here's another question I want you to think about. Do you know if it will bring you short-term results or will it bring you long-term results? I think a lot of us know that there are certain diets out there that are supposed to be a quick fix, right? And a lot of us have probably worked through some of that and realized that doesn't really work, right? There is no real quick fix, okay? So the other question I want you to ask yourself, and this is something I can educate you guys a little bit more on, is that there are specific body types. Did you know that? There are specific body types. And so are you eating for your body type? Are you eating and exercising for your body type? There's 3 different ones. You can look them up if you want. It's called ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph. And again, I can do another training on that if you guys want later, so I don't get into that too much today. But there are body types. And so are you eating for your body type? Do you know what your body type is and what your body needs? Kind of along with that would be, what are your goals? You know, do you want to lose weight? Do you want to build muscle? Do you want to get lean? You know, all of these different things. And so you really have to know what results you want to get from a nutrition plan, right? So some examples of a short-term nutrition plan. So I'm going to throw some of these out here, and some people can do these long-term, but these are the main ones that people generally, you really shouldn't do for long-term. You might get short-term results, but for long-term, they're really not going to work that great for you, and they're really not great for your body. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a few examples. That would be keto. That would be low carb, low calories, and I'm talking like 1,200 calories or less, which you shouldn't be doing anyways unless you talk to a doctor. Okay, I want to make sure you clarify that. If you hear out there that you can eat 1,200 calories or less and be okay without a doctor's permission, no, that is not true. You have to have a doctor's permission to do that, okay? You have to be like severely, you know, obese or have some sort of, you know, body thing going on, and the doctor is the only one who can say that, okay? All right, fasting or a fast. Now, I'll pause here for a second. I know there are spiritual reasons for fasting. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying understand the reason why you're doing the fast, okay? Like the Daniel fast is 21 days. Or maybe you're praying about something and so you don't eat for a couple days and you just drink water. Those are all fine. I just want you to make sure you understand the results you're going to get from that and why you're doing that, okay? If it's a spiritual reason, I totally understand, okay? Just know long-term, those diets are not designed to be long-term, okay? I'm going to touch on intermittent fasting here. Intermittent fasting is more of a timing of when you eat. It's not really about what you eat. But I will say some people can do intermittent fasting long-term. But again, most people do intermittent fasting for short-term results, okay? It's eating in a certain period of time and allowing your body to use the stored fat when you're fasting or when you're not eating. That's just a brief summary of it. Another short-term example would be elimination diets. And there are specific reasons why you need to do an elimination diet. I personally have an autoimmune disease. And so, you know, my body has lots of inflammatory responses that are already going on naturally. And so for me, getting rid of certain things like dairy, gluten, my body reacts to it differently. And so if that's something that you struggle with, doing an elimination diet, I think you can do it up to 21 days also. It might actually be really helpful because if you cut those things out, then you'll know, maybe what allergies you have or how your body responds to them. Do they make you feel more lethargic? So I'm not saying these are bad, and some of these are actually a great idea, like the elimination diet, if you have certain things going on. But again, these are for short-term results, okay? I don't want you thinking that a lot of these things are designed to be long-term, because actually, especially keto and low carb, your body is not designed to not have enough carbs. Your body thrives off of carbs. It's just that we eat too many of them normally, and we don't eat the right kinds of carbs, okay? So again, we can get into some of this other stuff later, but I just want to give you some of those things first to start off with. Okay, so remember the first question we asked is, why are we choosing that plan? I'm going to get into some long-term results some diets or nutrition that you could probably stick with. And actually one of them I do personally for, again, my autoimmune disease. And it can be done long term as long as it stays balanced, right? Okay, so long term, you may have heard there's this new Mediterranean diet out there, which I looked it up and I didn't see anything in there. Again, it's closer to maybe like an elimination diet. Paleo, which is what I do, which is no dairy, no gluten. Sometimes people do no grains. I don't eat grains most of the time. Again, it's an elimination diet. It's because my body responds to things not so great. And so actually eating paleo most of the time helps me have more energy, okay? But it can be done long term, and you can see results from it long term, okay? Vegan, vegetarians, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it can be balanced. You can eat a vegan and a vegetarian diet and have a well-balanced diet and get the protein and all the macros done very well. Which is my last point. Just eating a macro-balanced plan is a very great way to do a long-term nutrition plan for a long period of time, okay? Again, an exception would be, and I touched on this a little bit, in the fact that intermittent fasting is more about the timing of when you eat, not necessarily what you eat, okay? And a lot of people think if they do intermittent fasting, then they're eating lower calorie. Actually, that's not correct. You should be eating the same amount of calories, just in a shorter window of time, okay? So intermittent fasting can be done for long-term results. It's not necessarily designed for that, but again, you can do it. People have done it for long-term results in periods of time. So it's kind of an exception. Again, it's not really a diet, it's a timing of when you eat. So it can be an exception, again, if you do it right, you do intermittent fasting right. And then back to, I talked about paleo, so I'm kind of repeating myself here, but if you're doing gluten-free, dairy-free, if you have a nut allergy, obviously you don't want to eat those. I have friends who, her daughters are allergic to peanuts, and so that's obvious. Like you do that for a specific reason. It's for your health. It's for your good. Okay, it's a long-term result. All right. So those are some examples of short-term and long-term results that you will get. Different diets that will get you the results you want. But I just want people to understand that there are short-term results and there are long-term results. And of course, me being a coach, trainer, if you've talked to me any period of time, or if you've struggled with this, short-term results are not what you're looking for, right? You want long-term results. You want to see yourself lose 50 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever it is, and you want to keep it off, right? You want to build a lifestyle. That's what we're looking for, okay? So that's the first question to ask yourself is, why am I doing this plan? Is it going to give me short-term results, or is it going to give me long-term results? So just make sure you understand what's going on there. All right, the second question I want you to ask yourself when it comes to, okay, you picked a plan, you've picked a plan that, is going to give you long-term results, you're in it for the long haul, then I want you to ask yourself, who or what is your source or reasoning for that plan? Or, in other words, where are you getting this information from? Okay, this is super, super, I'm going to step on a soapbox just for a second because I have been in this boat. And I just think it is so unfair that there are so many different things out there on the internet that are so confusing, right? I've talked to my husband and I have had conversations about this when I decided to change my diet, when you're used to doing something a certain way, and then all this new information comes out about different things, then you're like, well, maybe I should do this, and then something else comes out, and you're like, well, maybe I should do this. And it's so confusing, right? Anybody else with me? Raise your hand. Tell me in the comments. So this is why I wanted to talk about this, because where did you get that info for the plan, right? And I'm not just saying this from my perspective as a coach. I have been through this. And so I'm going to share some things with you that I think and what I do to get to the source at the bottom of things to figure out where is the best place to find information about different nutrition plans, okay? So what's a good source? You know, there's all this information out there. What's a good source? Where do I start when it comes to a nutrition plan? Well, first of all, we should always start with our doctor. I'm not saying that I always do this, but I did when I had my autoimmune disease, that I figured this out. I had Hashimoto's. I talked to my doctor. I was like, is there any kind of food plan I should follow? He was like, no, not really. You can do whatever you want. I'm like, all right. So I went and talked to a nutritionist, and she put me on a paleo plan. You know, I've been on that plan now for probably 2.5 years, going on 3 years, I guess. I went back this last year for my, I have to do blood draws every year to check my thyroid and all of that. And a lot of my numbers were lower, as in they were better. And the only thing I changed was my diet, okay? Doctors aren't always going to tell you that nutrition is the key to everything, because they technically can't, because if there's not research to back it up, then they can't say that it helps. But I'm going to tell you, we all know nutrition helps with so many things, right? It's just legally, you can't say certain things for certain reasons, otherwise you get sued. It's a crazy world we live in. So, always start with your doctor for sure. At least get the clear to say, if I wanted to try this diet, would that be okay? And make sure, okay? Most doctors are going to have no problem with you eating a macro-balanced diet, less carbs, you know. So, but just in case, make sure you always ask. And then the next thing would be a nutritionist or dietitian, and then a nutrition coach. Someone like me who's been there. Again, I'll be working towards actually having a certification, but I just have a lot of experience right now, and so I have found, and this is what my next point will be, a lot of consistencies over time. And so once we find a good source, somebody in that category, doctor, nutritionist, dietitian, nutrition coach, you know, there are a lot of good trainers out there that have a lot of good nutrition advice. As long as there's someone, and I guess I'm kind of jumping ahead, but as long as there's someone who you've seen consistent results from, where what they're doing is working, and again, it's not something that's short-term, it's long-term, they're teaching you long-term habits, then most likely it will be a beneficial plan, okay? So what are some inconsistent plans, or inconsistent sources, excuse me. What are some inconsistent sources? I kind of touched on this. Magazines, the internet, you know, the internet can be good for some things. Like, what I like to look for is like medical journals, medical research, medical studies. So any of those that you would, you know, I forget, there's one that I've looked at, and if I find it, I'll share it with you. Excuse me. But anything that has some sort of backing research, that's where I would stay with. I would not necessarily, even I wrote celebrities on my notes, because not that celebrities are bad, and there are celebrities out there who promote lifestyle changes and good nutrition, but if you're looking to your source being that, you know, oh, Jessica Biel did this, or, you know, she lost all this weight because she did this, she might have a different body type than you do. Again, going back to, do you know what your body type is? Do you know yourself? Do you know what your body needs? And that's something that not everybody can know or figure out. You need some guidance there. Excuse me, I'm going to get a drink really quick. I saw there was, oh yes, Melissa, I know. We all love carbs, right? It's not that you can't have carbs. It's just what kind of carbs are you eating, right? Okay. So we talked about inconsistent sources. Now I want to talk about consistencies. Over time, the source that you have found, again, most likely it's going to be nutritionist, dietitian, doctors are always going to be there for you. But as long as you're approved, go for it. It's something that over time, it has proven long-term results. And so most of the time, they're going to be teaching you well-balanced diets of protein, carbs, and fats. portion control. But along the way, they're teaching you behavior change. And so you can have some of those indulgences occasionally, Melissa. So as you sit over here eating a cheeseburger is okay once in a while, you know? So it's finding the balance in your diet, right? I think we all know this. But it's just finding those consistencies, okay? And that's what's kind of hard to wade through in the world of the internet and celebrities and magazines. And so don't get your information just from those people. And I would start, again, going back to my what are better sources, dietitians, nutrition, coaches, start there, okay? All right, and then my last point, so we talked about why is that your plan? Who or what is your source or reasoning for that plan? Think about those things, okay? So my third point is when you get off track, okay? We've talked about, okay, we picked a plan, we think it's a good plan. When you get off track, what's your plan? That's my third point, is sticking to a plan. You have to have a plan, have to have a good plan, a proven plan, long-term results. But we all know the consistency is what helps us get through and gets us results, right? We want results. This plan is supposed to help us do it. We just have to follow the plan, right? So when you get off track, what's your plan? Okay? So, and when I'm talking about getting off track, I'm talking about like weeks and months. I'm not necessarily talking about days. If you get off track for a few days, you can jump right back on, okay? If you're this type of person, and this is kind of going into my next point, is, why did you get off track? Again, going back to if you're getting off track for more than a few days, you're getting off track for like weeks and months on end, and you just have no motivation to get back on track. Why? Well, I would circle back around to, was it a short-term result that you were looking for, or was it a long-term result that you were looking for? Did it fit in that category? If not, you need a better plan, okay? So think about that. Why did you get off track? One. Number two is, what behaviors or mindsets do you need to change? Okay? Because if you've seen other people get results from doing a well-balanced diet, long-term, consistencies, what is it that I'm doing? What behaviors or mindsets do I have that are making me not have this result? I think a lot of it, and I'll just give you a little tidbit into this, is that the reason that we end up getting off track for weeks and months at a time is because when we get off for a day, we get off for 2 days, maybe 3 days even, we think, oh, I can't do it. Oh, I'm a failure. And the thing is it's only 3 days. And the thing is, and this is what I tell people, is we have to get our minds wrapped around the fact that we are not going to be perfect. We are not going to hit it 100% of the time. I don't think we can really enjoy life, without having a few indulgences here or there. I believe food was designed for, celebration and community and all of that. And so, the thing is we can always make healthier choices that still taste good for our goals, but that doesn't mean you can't have a cheeseburger every once in a while. I eat ice cream every once in a while. We've got to get our minds wrapped around the fact that as long as you can move towards 80 to 90% of the time staying on track, so that might mean you start a meal plan, you have 2 meals in one day that you do really good. And then maybe your dinner is a little bit of a cheat. Start there. Do it again the next day. Eat 2 good meals or eat 1 good meal, whatever it is. We have to get our minds off the fact that we have to be perfect in order to make progress. No, progress is not perfection, okay? It takes time. It takes behavior change. It takes a mindset shift, okay? So what behaviors or mindsets do you need to change? And lastly, and my third point, when you get off track, is who is helping you? Who is helping you stay, or who is helping you change, okay? Again, this doesn't have to be me. It could be a friend. It could be someone else who needs to lose weight, wants to build muscle. you know, somebody who knows how to do it right. Again, going back to my points, proven long-term plan. You know, it could be your family. You know, it could be just being here in this group, getting encouragement to stay with your plan. That's really what it takes. And so, again, we got to do this journey together. If it's something that you haven't been able to get over the hump, you need some help. And that's okay. Everybody needs help here or there, okay? So, just to recap, and I see there's a couple comments, so I will touch on that in just a sec. You know, how do we stick to a nutrition plan? First of all, we need to know why we're doing it. We need to know if it's a good plan. We need to know if it's actually going to work. Is it going to give you short-term results or long-term results? We need ones that are be consistent, that they have long-term results, okay? The second is, where or who are you getting your resources from? Where are you getting your information from? Is it a doctor, a nutritionist, dietitian, somebody who knows food? You know, I think we all think that we have these, you know, degrees because we looked on the internet, we researched, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying, if you're not one of those people, you probably don't have the in, okay? You need to be educated a little bit, and that's okay. And I've been there. I know what that's like. And, you know, I'm someone who likes to have a lot of information, but very often than not, I don't always have the right information. You know, and so we have to kind of get over ourselves a little bit and have to listen to other people who know what they're talking about, okay? That's why I work with a nutritionist. I occasionally still ask her questions, or if I need to get a new plan, I'll go see her, you know? So, and then my third point was, when you get off track, because you will. When you get off track, what's your plan? Why did you get off track? Know why you got off track. Again, go back to, I'm saying this a lot, I'm sorry, but is it short-term or is it long-term that you're looking for? What kind of a plan was it? And then, what behaviors or mindsets do you need to change? And who is helping you? Okay? All right, what else? Okay, yeah, no problem, Melissa. There you go. You just got the cheeseburger. You didn't get the french fries or tater tots. Nice. See, you can make better choices. You can still have a cheeseburger, just have a little bit less of everything else. So, anyways, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching. As always, you can put your questions up while I'm talking, and then if I get to them, or I'll try to get to them at the end. But that's really all I have for today. I will see you guys soon. Have a great Tuesday.